The chairman of today's event, who is going to be taking his keynote speech, Mr. Olatunde Adejuyigbe, SAN. Before he comes up, I'd just like to read a brief citation. He's the lead partner of Chanel Legal Practitioners, and with over 3 decades of legal practice, he has earned recognition for his formidable skills in dispute resolution and frontline insolvency practice. He has acted as defense counsel in a couple of high-profile criminal cases initiated by the EFCC and NDLEA. He has a track record of obtaining favorable verdicts for the discharge of clients based on the potency of his no-case submissions. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our keynote speaker, Mr. Olatunde Adejuyigbe. Leonard Silk, please come forward, sir.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here and to celebrate who I call Phenomenal Rosemond. That's what I call her each time I say Phenomenal Rosemond. Now, the great thing that we're doing today is quite compelling because for the times and the seasons we are in, you know, for a lot of people today, they think that the only solution for the future is to just travel abroad. I'm putting papers together. If you go to VFS and TLS, you will see the number of people who throng out daily just looking for how they will jet out. So you imagine that you readily have either those who are already runaways or those who are on the runway or those who are approaching the runway. And all of that, you know, just put a lot of people in that same category of we're waiting for the next bus to get out. And so when you now find someone trying to tell us that it is not you looking for a solution, but it is even you becoming a solution. And I think that is what we need to learn from what this book is all about. The more important thing that we also need to understand is that there is a choice that every one of us must make about our lives. And that critical choice is either you pay a price up front or you pay a penalty later. I'm saying, if you want to succeed, you've got to make up your mind because it doesn't come cheap, it doesn't come easy. A number of things that have been spoken about in this book are really things that we need to embrace if you really want to get to the top. Just this morning, Rosemond was telling us, yes, I made mistakes. But the truth is, even with those mistakes, she didn't quit. She could have said, well, forget it, this is not for me. I have other things to do. But she learned from those mistakes and became a better version of herself, able to come up with this book. And so what I recommend, and I'm talking about briefly this morning, is essentially on that issue of price. And if I take each of those things, price, of course, means the P there says to have a passion. You know, you need to have a passion. And many of us today, they call you to do something. The first thing that comes to you is what's coming out of it. If nothing is coming out of it, forget it. You know, so you need to have the passion that drives you. You know, years back, my wife would tell somebody that, look, if you wake my husband up at 3 a.m. to go to court, he will dress up. And that was just it. So you need to have that passion that, look, you are pursuing this vigorously and you are pursuing it with everything that you have. And of course, when you have the passion, you also have to be persistent. Now, there are some of us, you are hot yesterday, you are cold today. You know, you are excited tomorrow, you are lamenting today, you are grumbling. And so you need to understand a combination of passion and persistence. And I go to the R. I mean, when you talk about the practice, it means you also need resilience. In our environment, you find a lot of things standing against you. You wait through traffic, and it can be very troubling most times. And you say, oh, if this is what it calls for, forget it. I don't want to do it. But when you are resilient, you are saying to yourself that come what may, you are going to go through all this. And I'm sure when you go through Made for More, you will find many of these things that Rosemond herself had walked through. And it is important that as you also talk about resilience, you need to understand relationship. Many of us are in this room this morning because we have a relationship with Rosemond. Whether you met her last night or you met her decades ago, but it's a relationship. Our parents are here this morning because of relationship. I'm here this morning because of relationship. And that means that we need to learn also that we've got to invest in relationship. Many of us don't invest in relationship. You only remember somebody that you need something for. Possibly you've not even spoken to that person 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And then one morning you are calling and the person is wondering, who is this? And you have to reintroduce yourself, it's me. So you've got to learn to invest in relationship. God himself values relationship. And that is why, God says, those who honor me, I will honor. So he values relationship. So if you really want to make a great success out of life, you've got to invest in relationship. So I go to I. I says integrity. And of course, if you don't have integrity, then you are a non-starter. Your yes need to be yes. People need to know that you are committed to doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Whether anybody sees you or not, you just say, look, doing the right thing is your brand. And that's what you're committed to. And there are many of, a good example I give people. You're going in traffic and it's midnight. And the light suddenly changes from green to red. And there's nobody watching. Will you drive off or will you stay? And that is part of integrity. Whether there is a camera or not, whether there's a policeman around, the thing says red means I should stop. And I stop. And when you are committed to integrity in little things, it shows up in the greater things that you do. I also think about being intentional. Now, many of us are not intentional. You just do things, just let me just do it. But you want great results to come out of it. So you've got to be intentional. And you must have integrity. And the C talks about your consistency. Consistency. Look, I'll give you an example. I tell people that when you write, there's a problem today. People write very well. And so you may think that others are wondering, why are you bothering yourself to put in all this? Nobody is going to look at that. But your consistency says, look, I am committed to doing the right thing every time because that becomes my own identity, my own signature. It doesn't matter that other people choose to do things, anyhow. But your consistency speaks to the fact that I am determined to do it right, not once, not twice, all the time. It also speaks to your own character. Because most times, that is the thing that people get to go away with. Oh, who is this person? They will all, and I'm sure all of us here, if you were to write about Rosemond this morning, or one or other persons that we know, you'll be talking about their character. And so you cannot discount all of this when thinking about going ahead. Now, as you look at the banner there, it talks about us talking of confidence, talking about conviction. The challenge is that very many of us, we don't have conviction. People ask you, what do you want to do? The only thing you say that I just want to make money. I just, you want to cash big. You want to do all of that. But what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And what that means is that you should be looking for opportunities to add value. Opportunity to be an agent of transformation. Opportunity to change situations become a person of significance. Now I'm not here this morning to talk about Rosemond, but I can also not totally miss out the opportunity to say a few things. And I'll give you an example. Just the last 2 years, I was chairman of the MBA Ikeja Law Week for 2023 and 2024. And we were planning the Thanksgiving service. And I just told Rosemond that, look, I need you to help organize this Thanksgiving service, get cheap team and all of that. And he just told me it will be done. Now, two things. I didn't have to remind her. I didn't have to chase her. She is the one coming back to me. But the notable thing is that for this morning, Rosemond there said, how early will they open the back end set up? And I said, what are you planning to get there? She said like 5 a.m. Now, you imagine and say, when you are not being paid for this, why do you want to get there for 5 a.m.? In any case, the service may not start before 9. And that is the consistency. Now, somebody else will say, okay, 9, we try and get here 30 minutes before and set up. After all, nobody is being paid for it. And the testimony is that she did it in 2023 and did it in 2024. That's the consistency. And the part that is also interesting is that I would say, Rosemond, how much is all of this costing? Because I know that the team need to transport their equipment and we pay them for a few things. And she will tell me, she will let me know. Till this morning, she has not let me know. And that's the testimony that somebody will say, okay, let me send this and tell them to pay this. Even when the MBA will ask me, sir, all of this, what I will pay. I say, the person that is running it will have not told me what it's costing. Now, so the thing to take away from this is that she saw the opportunity to make a contribution. She saw the opportunity to add value, cost to us, but of course at a great cost to her. And there's a lesson that we all should learn from that. When I talk of consistency this man, I talk of relationship. It speaks for a lot of things that we do. I mean, Rosemond walks into our office, everybody knows that she's there. Even though she left the firm some years back. I've also had to share, the firm where I worked, I left in 1991. But tomorrow, they will still call to say, look, can you handle this? Can you handle that? And that is over 34 years ago. So we need to learn all of these things and bring them together. Nothing is going to happen to us by wish. Now, which is a challenge that many people have. We just wish, and ask that God will do this and God will do that. But that is not the way it works. God says the things that are possible with us. The ones that are impossible with us are the ones He will do. So He's giving us a lot. And there's so much loaded that we are loaded with. And this is what this book is telling us. Each and every one of us, we are made for more. And if you do not, at the end of the day, you can imagine, just like this phone that we carry. To a large extent, for most of us, maybe once you have a phone for photography and WhatsApp and call, and within that is more. But you imagine if the manufacturer comes to you one day and begins to reveal to you all of the functions and all of the capabilities that this phone has, and you begin to feel sorry for yourself. This is the same way that the God who made you look at you, that you are underutilizing all the potentials, all the ability that are deposited in you. And that is what Made for More is bringing up. So it's a wake-up call for us. And like she said, it is a movement. And as you come for this event this morning, if there's anything you need to go away with, is to remind yourself that you are made for more. And nothing should stop you from maximizing to the fullest the potentials that you have. So I say congratulations, Rosemond. I'm exceedingly proud of you. And I know that this is just the beginning of greater things to come. And more importantly, that as many as will read this book we have resounding testimonies that this book will impact their lives. And finally, let me tell you, I look at the acronym of this Made for More. I say, this is MFM. If they come after you for copyright, you'll be defended. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together